Hi class, trust you all are doing great today. So trust you all had a lovely night. So it's another day. So before we continue with the lessons for today, is there anyone that can remind me of our lessons of the last class, please? Yeah, please go on. Okay. Thank you. So today we'll be talking on another topic today. It's all about analyzing and writing an argumentative essay. It's quite an interesting topic, so let's dive into the materials we'll be using for this particular lesson. We have a whiteboard projector, we have markers or pens, we have students' notebooks or paper, we have an argumentative analysis handout, we equally have a strong verb versus a weak verb reference sheet. So let's move into the objectives of this lesson. What do you intend to achieve in this argumentative essay? Well, by the end of this lesson, our objective is that we're going to identify the main claim and supporting evidence in a persuasive text. The persuasive text is reading. We will draft a topic sentence that presents a clear argument in bracket writing. We will be able to revise sentences by replacing weak verbs with strong, specific verbs to enhance their writing. That is grammar. So now what's the warm-up for this particular lesson? The warm-up will start, the activity will be agree or disagree. So let's start with the instructions. For example, you display a controversial but age-appropriate statement on the board, such as students should be allowed to use their phones during lunch. And we have examples. On a piece of paper, write agree or disagree. Then write one sentence explaining your choice. Be ready to share opinion and reasoning with your partner. Alright. So now what's the instruct model? The instructions is that the main topic is the anatomy of an argumentative and using strong verbs. So the introduction, we'll start with the introduction to the argument. You will define your claim, the writer's main point, and evidence, facts, data, and examples to support your claim. Like, for example, those of you who say you agree with that particular topic, I mentioned an example: if students should be allowed to use their phone during lunch. So those that are for, you will stand to back your with facts and data to support your claim, and that those who are against, you will stand to also support your claim. So we have, secondly, I will use guided reading. That's, I'll read the provided persuasive text aloud as a class. We all will read it aloud as a class. Then we equally be able to model how to identify the author's main claim and the key pieces of evidence for this lesson. Also, we'll be using teacher think aloud. The author's main point seems to be that of a 4-day school week would be better for students and teachers. So I will see that they talk about increased students' engagement and improve teachers' morale. Like, for example, this looks like their main claim and some evidence. Also, we'll focus on the grammar. You explain strong verbs that will make writing more compelling and precise. For example, weak. The student was happy about the plan. Strong. The student cheered for the plan. Alright? Also, I'll ask students for other examples of strong verbs that could be used, like was or is. Alright? So from here, is there anybody that doesn't understand? Is there anything you're missing out that you want me to explain? Let me quickly go back and explain better. If not, okay, let's forge ahead. We'll have guided practice. The activity for this guided practice that will be partnership. You guys will work in groups. I'll hand out the argumentative analysis worksheet. Like I said, that's part of the materials we'll be using. In pairs, students will be able to read the persuasive text and fill out the worksheet, identifying the main claim and at least 2 pieces of supporting evidence. Okay? Also, we'll talk of the topic sentence. Once they have identified the claim, have students individually choose a side of original warm-up statement. Students should be able to, or allowed to use their phones during lunch, alright, and write a topic sentence for a paragraph. For example, students who agree allowing phones during lunch creates a more flexible and enjoyable break time for students. That's for people that stand for the fact of that they agree. Then student B, for example, the ones who disagree on that statement, using phones at lunch prevents students from socializing and building important relationships. So I don't know if you understand what's happening here. So those who have brought out their claims for where they stand, their facts, their examples, why we should allow the phones during break and why we should not allow. Well, at the end of the day, we would come to a compromise on which facts is better, right? Or which fact is concrete. So we'll go with the assessment. I will be able to observe. I will circulate during the guided practice to check for understanding, to listen to students' conversations as they analyze the text and draft their sentences. I'll equally give tasks. Students will be able to write a full argumentative paragraph based on their drafted topic sentence. The paragraph must include at least 2 pieces of evidence and use at least 2 strong verbs. Then the teacher can use a rubric to evaluate the clarity of the argument and the effective use of verbs. Alright? So this is all we'll be doing for today. I believe when we dive into the topic more with everything I've explained, I think we are good to go. So see you all tomorrow for our next lessons. Bye.